Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Teens Biz Talk Podcast. We are so excited that you're able to be with us again today. And man, are you in for a treat? Our guest today is going to help us navigate entrepreneurship from the standpoint of who we are, right? Helping us to be better so then we can be better at business. I'm so excited to talk with her today. But before we dive into all that she has to share with us, just want to let you all know today's episode is being sponsored by Bateman Empowering Educators. At Bateman Empowering Educators, we take away the trial and error method of your teenager learning about money and replace it with a practical blueprint to equip them to create a 5-star financial future. So make sure you just check down below for the link to see what resources we have available. Okay, so for today, man, oh man, we are so excited to have with us Miss Jenny Maxwell, health, wellness, and life coach. Hello, Jenny. How are you today?
I'm great, Tara. How are you?
I am well. I am well. Thank you for taking time out of what I'm sure is a very busy schedule to come and just chat with our community for a little bit. We really, really appreciate it.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here. So thank you for having me on.
Sure. So when we hear coach, sometimes some people may not really understand what a coach is, what a coach does, or even the amount of importance a coach can have in your life. So could you just share with us just a little bit about coaching and how important it is and how it can be helpful?
I certainly can. I would love to share. So there's a misconception about coaching, quite honestly. I have had several people suggest that I'm going to tell them what they're doing wrong and what they should be doing. And that is in fact the opposite of what coaching is. So working with a coach focuses really on where you are at present and where you would like to get to in the future. So where we start is by identifying your goals or what you want to see, whether it's in your life or your business or in your health and wellness. We establish what might be stopping you or slowing you down from having that right now. And then over a course of a couple of weeks or a couple of months or however long it takes, we create a roadmap that's personal to your needs and create small doable action steps each week that are manageable and not overwhelming. And those small changes over time lead to big results. So you end up shifting your mindset from, I can either do this or that, to I can do both and more. So it's figuring out what works for you, because everybody's different and we all have our own maps and every map is valid. So figuring out what works for you. If something doesn't work from week to week, we have a look and figure out, I wonder what got in the way of this. How can we adjust it and make it more doable for next week? So there's no judgment. It's not like homework, this is just you feeling empowered to make choices that are driving you towards your ultimate goal in any area of your life, whether it's your health or your business or your family or anything else. That's what coaching is all about, driving you forward at your own pace.
I like that. I really like how you emphasize the aspect of it being personal. I think you mentioned a personal roadmap, right? Yeah. Because I know a lot of times in life, and definitely for our teen entrepreneurs that are listening in, it can be kind of tough to identify themselves and find that personal way. I think sometimes, a lot of times they get kind of caught up just in terms of what's popular, wanting to be accepted, and maybe if they don't have that representation of who they are around them, right? Even thinking that that's not valid. So thank you very much for breaking that down. If we could touch on just one of the things that you just mentioned, and it was about creating a mindset shift. Can you just speak to that a little bit more for us?
So yeah, I would love to. So I'm glad you mentioned, what we grow up, the environment that we grow up in, and all of us have grown up, or most of us have grown up with traditional school. And something that we're not taught in school is to listen to our intuition and listen to what our gut is telling us. And our intuition is, in fact, what we already know to be true. And we are taught the opposite of that. You know, in growing up, even with food, you're given the food that's on your plate, and you might be, gosh, this food doesn't make me feel good, but I'm going to get in trouble if I don't eat it. Wow. So you go against your gut wisdom, and you go against your intuition because you want to not be in trouble. We want to create an experience for ourselves of love, safety, and belonging. We don't want to upset people. So we go against our gut wisdom. And something that we're not taught in school is out of the box thinking, because there is a curriculum and kids are expected to learn the same way. And some kids excel in math, and other kids excel in language arts, and other kids excel in sport or music or whatever. Every child is gifted. Every single human being has their own gift and talent and value in this world. They can bring something different that nobody else can, because we are all unique. So the out of the box thinking, and especially for a young entrepreneur, working with a coach is so powerful, because there's no copy and paste mentality. This is a question of, what do you want? What's getting in the way of this? What's important about that? Let's figure out a way to get past the obstacles and get you where you need to be. And that is a mindset shift. It's look, here's a great example. A lot of the time we hear ourselves say things like, I can't do that. For whatever reason, it be, you know, I can't commit to this time, or I can't make dinner today. I don't have time. And the mindset shift right there is, if we can shift from I can't do that to how can I do that? You're going from a negative perspective to a positive perspective. So in business, I can't ask that question. And I can't ask this person to sponsor my business. Well, how can I ask that person to do this for me? What good thing might get to happen if I did ask? And then we weigh up what the risk is. What is the worst thing that could possibly happen? Maybe the person says no. And guess what? Further mindset shift is, sometimes no just means not yet. And the kids are the best teachers for us to learn that no oftentimes can mean just not yet. So you think about a toddler or a young kid that is relentless. They ask their parents or their sister or their brother for something, and it doesn't seem to matter how many ways you say no, they keep coming back, and they have another different way to ask you. Well, and they have, you know, they're bargaining with you. Well, what if I could just have 5 more minutes on the computer? Or what if I could just play with my friends for 10 more minutes? And eventually you're so worn down, you say, fine, 10 more minutes. So the kid is successful, gets what they want, because they didn't give in. They believed, if I could ask a different way, maybe I can get what I want. It's that fearless, we need to embrace that fearless toddler, that fearless young person that's still within us when we're stepping forward in a new venture that seems a little scary. Weigh up, what's the risk here? Maybe the person says no. Is that the worst that can happen? Surely not. Somebody else will say yes, or maybe they'll come back at a later date and say, you know what, I'm ready to give this a go with you. So does that make sense with the mindset shift?
Definitely. Man, I am furiously scribbling notes over here myself. I'm sure our community who's listening in is also taking notes. I love that, just that visual of embracing the fearlessness of a toddler. That's definitely something.
Oh my gosh.
They do just keep on, keep on, keep on.
And, you know, to go back to gut wisdom, I realized even as a mother, you know, because there's no perfect human, we're all learning as we go. We make mistakes. And sometimes the biggest thing we need to do is forgive ourselves, because you don't ever graduate from being a human being. We're going to get it wrong. I apologize to my older son all the time. I'm like, hey, listen, I have no idea what I'm doing with you. Danny, your younger brother, is going to have such an easy ride by comparison, because I will make all of my mistakes with you. You're welcome. And we have a laugh about it, you know, but he knows I'm doing the best that I can with what I have at the time. So we would have dinner, and I would notice that Danny, who's my younger son, would take forever. He would take forever. And I would be like tearing my hair out. Come on, we got to get, la, 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 la. For some reason, I was not looking at meal times as an experience.
Mm.
It's an opportunity to sit and slow down. Well, then fast forward and I become a coach and I realize, oh my gosh, he's had it right all along. He has managed to slow down his eating, pay attention to his gut wisdom. His gut is trying to tell him, I'm full. I'm full. I don't need to eat anymore because I took my time with my meal. So what's left on my plate it's not going to nourish me. It's just going to make me feel stuffed. And I felt like, oh my gosh, I need to pay attention. This is another thing I need to learn from my son, to slow down everything that I'm doing. Take my time. We're on this earth, we're playing the long game, whether it's business or health or anything else, we're playing the long game. So slow it all down and look at food and moments of calm and moments of wisdom in your business as the gift of time. So now we're very focused in our house on having a 20-minute meal, which to some people may feel like an eternity, but it has been such a wonderful opportunity as a family to just reconnect and learn about one another's day. And it's where we have all of our best arguments at the dinner table, but it's slowing it all down. So there's another example of how the kids really know more than we give them credit for.
I agree. And I would imagine even in being able to learn that, and your son kind of shining the light on that contributes to the overall health of the family in some way. Because I would imagine then just doing that in terms of slowing down for dinner would start to seep into other areas of life.
Absolutely.
Whether you're all meeting collectively or you're doing something individually. So that is wonderful.
Well, yeah, because how we do one thing is how we do everything. So I was eating my dinner as quickly as possible to move on to the next thing. And then I noticed I'm out walking and I'm walking like a lion is chasing me, and I'm walking my dogs and I feel like I have to be furiously moving all the time. But when I go with my husband or I go with my kids, they're strolling. And suddenly I was like, oh, the dogs are happier. I'm calmer. Oh, wow, I can actually hear the birds. I managed to slow everything down and my central nervous system is relaxed. So I'm no longer stressed. Yeah, we learn a lot. The kids have a lot to teach us if only we could listen.
If only. And that's what we're trying to do here. So yes. So, wow, I'm still just kind of working through that, just the actual wellness and the health part that ties into that. What are some other things, again, for our teen entrepreneurs that are listening, what are some things they can be doing in the way of health? One thing you mentioned, when sitting down at dinner, they may not always be able to make the choice, right, of what they would like to eat or even the time that they would like to eat. What are just some other practical ways that they can be supporting themselves in terms of their health, do you think?
Here is a great tip. Water is our friend. Before anything else goes into your body, caffeine, soda, anything else, and this is without judgment, I would advise and encourage everyone who is listening to have a large glass of water as soon as they swing their legs out of the bed. So you think about it this way, you wouldn't go 7 or 8 or 9 hours in the day without having something to drink because you would be totally dehydrated. So imagine that at nighttime when you're sleeping and you're not having a drink in the middle of the night, you're not having anything. You're waking up and you're totally dehydrated. And what do? Usually the first thing we do is we make a cup of coffee or we make a cup of tea and we add caffeine to our system before anything else. So the guideline for water intake for anybody is it's half your body weight in fluid ounces. So if you're 200 pounds or you're 150 pounds, it's half of your body weight in fluid ounces. That is the recommended water intake every day. And that may seem like a lot. And some of your listeners might be like, what? I don't have any water. I can't drink half my body weight in water. And I say, agreed, you're going to be running to the bathroom every 2 minutes. So when we look for small changes over time, you start thinking, oh, okay, so how can I have a little more water each day until I reach my goal? So start in the morning. You could have a large glass of water first thing in the morning. And then it's kind of on your radar. And the more you drink, the more you will want to drink. So you're rehydrating as you go, which will give you more energy. So that is a great tip for your teens, is just drink more water.
I like that. I like that. And that is definitely something that is doable and within a type of individual control.
Oh yeah, and again, it's like it's working with your body, because we all have different weights. We're not all the same, and we all have different dietary needs. Some people can't eat dairy, some people can't eat wheat, some people are allergic to sugar. I wish I was one of those people. I am not. But it's all about finding a balance.
Mm-hmm.
It's finding a balance in everything. Okay, when I don't want to give up X, Y, and Z, well, who says you have to?
Right.
Let's find a balance so that you can still have what you want, but you counteract it with something a little healthier so that you're not feeling like you're being deprived of something.
Mm-hmm.
It's small changes over time, and that can be applied to anything: work, home life, business, schoolwork, food, movement, finding moments of calm in your day to center yourself. The kids are so busy these days.
Yes.
There's a greater expectation. It's not like how I was when I was a kid. There's this driving force of, well, you've got to do well in school, and then you have to be in sport, and you have to help in your community. And at no time, or very rarely, I think the kids are ever asked, what is it that you want? And in fact, I've had both adults and kids who have come to me for coaching who have been completely stumped by that question, simply because they have never been asked. Well, think about it. When was the last time somebody said to you, what is it that you want? You would have to wait. You'd have to sit back in your chair and think, well, I don't really know what I want. Nobody ever asked me,
Wow.
And when you can figure that out, and sometimes you think you want something, and then when you do a little coaching on it, you realize, oh, I might want that, but these steps need to happen first. I also want X, Y, and Z. So it's getting more of what you want, and it's figuring out this roadmap that is personal to you because you are unique.
Thank you for that. Wow. So, so when identifying, or at least thinking through, what do you want, or what do I want? And then working with a coach and creating that personal roadmap, what happens, or what do we do when then life changes and what we want is now different? But all this time, maybe for the past 4, 5, 8 years, we've been following this particular roadmap. How do we know when maybe we just need to persevere in what we're doing, or when we actually need to pivot to start looking at something else?
Well, what's wonderful about coaching is learning flexibility in life. There's no perfect scenario. For some people, they graduate high school and they go to college and they study something specific, and they graduate from college and they go into business, and that is their life, and they are perfectly happy. So good for them. For most of us, we think we know what we want. We start on a track. We find something else along the way that is like, kind of, gosh, actually, this seems a little exciting. I don't know about this other idea I had. And it's the flexibility of being open to explore what's possible. How can we look at this, like zoom out and really take a look at the big picture? And it's through coaching is all about asking questions. It's finding out, what would having that do for you? What's important about that? Those kind of questions lead the person to really uncover what it is inside of them that they are in search of. So that's what I teach my clients. It doesn't have to be one thing. Life changes, things change, you grow. And the more you grow as a person and you're open to what's possible for you, of course, there will be endless possibilities because you have unlimited potential if you could just get out of your own way.
Wow. Whew. Man, oh man, I just want to thank you for everything that you have just shared with us, Jenny. Again, if the community is anything like me, we're going to have to go back and listen to this one again. Because we're just going to have to really process some of these beautiful gems that Jenny gave us today. We talked about a lot. You talked about mindset shift, out of the box thinking, asking the question, what do you want? I think that's really something to take time and sit with. You talked about the gift of time. And then for moving into health, that water is our friend. I think that's probably the most practical kind of today change that we can make, is just keeping that in mind. Water is our friend. Wow, we talked about a lot. Was there anything that we didn't talk about that you wanted to share with us today?
I would like to share with your listeners, both parents and our youth, the youth of the future. I'm like so excited to see what everybody's going to do. And I would love for everybody to take away this belief that everything you want to achieve is inside of you. And be very mindful of who you give your time and energy to. If you surround yourself with people who encourage and want to support you in your stretch and growth as an entrepreneur and a human being, pay attention to those people and leave everybody else behind. As hard as that might be, don't listen to the negative, just focus on the positive. When you get into bed at night and before you close your eyes, run through your day and look for the win. What went well for me today? As a mother, as a father, as a brother, as a sister, as an entrepreneur, what went well for me today? And you will find that what went well far outweighs what you maybe didn't get to do. So that's what I encourage your listeners to do. Look for the win.
Thank you. And we are going to end it right there. But before we head out, how can our community connect with you?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. It's Jenny M Coaching. My website is jennymcoaching.com. And I'm also on LinkedIn. So you can find me pretty much anywhere, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Well, thank you again for taking time to just share all of this wisdom with us today. We are very, very grateful. Everyone, just take a moment, go reach out to Jenny on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, connect with her, let her know what you got from today's podcast. Let her know what stood out to you. Wow. Thank you so much. And for anyone who is listening on our podcast platforms, please be sure to go ahead and subscribe. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, please also make sure that you like and subscribe. And before we head out, as I tell you all every week, to remember, everything in creation was created with a gift inside of it. So go and share your gift with the world. Until next time.